Thanks for joining me for another episode of Dearly Departed Experiences of a Young Widow. I'm Ainee Lynnette Taylor. I talked about before how grief hits us so different. And we know people are going to grieve in various ways. But I recently spoke about how others view us in our grief. They say words of comfort or hope to comfort you with the "I'm so sorry for your loss." And as someone grieving, you start to believe that everyone just says those words, but may not really truly have that meaning of sorrow that matches your grief. It doesn't mean that they're wrong. It just means after you hear it enough times, it's as common as someone saying, "Hey, how are you?" Not really wanting to know how you're doing. They just want you to respond with, "I'm fine." But I thought people could also see me. If they say things, that's one thing. But do you see what I'm going through? I had to also internalize that. And I also had to decipher if people just didn't care or they just couldn't cope with how I grieved. And the sadness of grieving and being able to say the right things or be able to show up at the right time can be uncomfortable. And I started to learn that in my grief period of time. I didn't always look as if I was going through depression and loneliness. I always came out with that mask on my face. It was a mask of, I'm doing better than you could probably imagine, and I am willing to get back into this game called life. Because as a griever, life seems to pause. While everyone else is still going, it just seems to pause. I wanted people to see me in the state I felt I was in, which was stuck. I was stuck on the day I heard he died. I was stuck on the day that I was waking up the next morning and he wasn't there. A realization that what happened wasn't a dream or a nightmare, it was true. And since I was stuck there and months were going by, and it becomes a distant memory for some, or it becomes okay, she's going through this, I'm going to let her get through it, because as most people, they have their own issues to deal with. It may not be grief, but it could just be the everyday trials and tribulations of life. And so while people are moving forward and I am stuck, and people would see me months later and say, "Well, you look great," or say things like, "Well, I tell you, you're handling this so well." I took it as a compliment, but I didn't know what that truly meant when I'm taking something well. I gave glory to God for keeping me. That was the first thing. I didn't know how else to navigate this space because I'd never been there. So I truly thought I was handling myself in the only means I knew how, and that was in faith. That God did what he knew was going to happen before I would ever imagine it would happen. So I had to trust God in that situation, and that's what I did. I also wanted to encourage people and let them know how good God is and how good he is in my life while I'm grieving. And so many saw that as being stoic, being brave, being a woman of God, of faith. And I wasn't trying to win that competition. I wanted to pick myself up and I wanted to keep going, even when my future looked so different than what I expected. And as some people saw my journey, whether online or if they saw me in person, they believed that I was doing a lot better than I actually was inside. And some would say, or not mean to say this in a bad way, "Well, are you planning to start dating again? You're young. Have you thought about it? Oh, you're a catch. Somebody will definitely want to date you." It was the nicest thing people could say, especially in a moment where you feel as if your grief is exuding on the outside that no one would want to approach you. It wasn't me feeling as that I'm unattractive and that I'm not a catch for some other man, but I still had so much love for my husband. It wasn't anything I was thinking about. I, of course, wanted to have the intimacy. I talked about even the sexual part of it. I still wanted those things, but from just anybody, I don't think so. It was going to take a lot for me to take that leap. So people would look at me and think I was doing okay and would be able to say words like, "Have you gotten over it yet?" Or when I told a man I wasn't ready to date, which probably about 6 months or more after my husband passed away, they were asking if I was ready to date. And I said, "I don't think so." And they said, "Well, when are you going to get over it?" That's like a dagger. When are you going to get over it? I don't know. I don't have an answer for when I'm getting over it. I don't think it's going to take you telling me to get over it for me to then finally make that leap to normalcy. It wasn't going to help me to tell me that. In fact, it was hurtful when I had someone say that. I don't believe it was mean-spirited, though. It was advice to say life goes on. In the simplest, probably not the most eloquent way, but it was the way of telling me to get back into life and to move on. And dating, of course, would be part of that. The enjoyment of having a partner again. And while I know I'm the marrying type, I'm not a chronic dater. I don't want to date a whole bunch of people. I also wanted to make sure that the choices I made were not because I was super emotional. That was the hardest part, because the emotional decisions can be so irrational and they seem good at the moment, but really they were not the best for me at that time. And dating, or having in this situation someone tell me to get over it so that they could benefit from dating me, was insensitive in that moment. I do appreciate those who wanted me to feel as if I could still be desired. And that means a lot to a widow, or at least this widow, to know that I could get back out in the dating pool and dive in and see if there was someone who matched up closely to the caliber of my husband, the man that I chose to marry and forsake all others for. Could there be a second man I could do the same for? I prayed so, but I didn't pray for when. So, as people who look at you in your grief and they see the exterior, they may not be able to truly understand the walk. And so I wanted to as quickly as I could, get through the process of my mourning so that I could go back into living. Because there was a period of time I got sick and tired of grieving. I really wanted to stop feeling the sadness, the grief, the brokenheartedness of my life. I wanted to rejoin everybody and laugh. And thankfully, God gave me a sense of humor a long time ago about a lot of things. And I have laughed in the face of tragedy. I had a hard time at first finding the happiness, and happiness came slow. It's been over 3 years, and I still have moments of darkness in my day. But I do find happiness. And there's reasons for that, which I will talk about. But as far as my grieving, I felt people were starting to back away from me just a little bit because of the fact that I was in this moment, in this time of hurtfulness. I was still finding my way. And I wanted to go to places that meant the most to me and my spouse. I'm thankful for my church because we have what we call life groups. Our church is fairly large, so it's easy to get lost among the crowd. But life groups bring it down to a more simplistic and more intimate group of people, of like-minded thoughts or activities or hobbies or even growth that you're looking to go through. I was grateful for a life group of young ladies, women, who wanted to go out and just enjoy what's out there. They call their group the We're Outside. I may have that a little bit wrong, but that was the concept, is we're outside. As Christians, many times we will sit at home and think that the Lord will just drop somebody in your life, but you just are going to be praying and he'll knock on the door like he's a delivery from DoorDash, and that's not who you ordered, or that's not what you ordered. You have to go out. You have to just be seen enjoying life. And so I wanted to enjoy life again. I just didn't know really where I was going to start. And there were certain things about places I would go that was specifically where my husband and I would frequent. We have a favorite restaurant, an Italian restaurant that makes the most impeccable food, and the people there and the customer service is outstanding. The family that owns that restaurant, they treat you like you're a part of the family. They're always like, "Hi, how are you? Come and sit down, enjoy." And many times they would just bring out a specialty of theirs, not charge me and my husband for it, bring out bottles of wine, not charge us for it. They just loved us. And I love that restaurant so much so that when my husband had said to me years ago, "I don't want a funeral. When I die, I don't want a funeral. I want people to celebrate my life and grab a glass of wine and toast." That was what he wanted. And I chose that restaurant to have his memorial service because that's how important it was. And I couldn't go back. I love that restaurant. I love the food. I love the people, like I mentioned, but I couldn't go back. And my friends in this life group, We're Outside life group, called me up and said, "Hey, we're going to that restaurant. Do you want to go?" It was also maybe the same time, if it wasn't actually a year to the date from his memorial service, that they asked me. Look at God. Look at God. And so I said yes, because I was determined at a certain point in my life, I wanted to rejoin society and the whole world of the living. I wanted to be a part of it, so I really worked on it. And I wasn't going to turn down everything, including people who wanted to date me. I didn't close that door either, but it took a moment. So when the group said, "Let's go to this restaurant," and this was going to be the first time I've been to this restaurant since the memorial service, it couldn't have been a better group of people to go with. Because for me, if I went alone, which was suggested, as I made new memories for every season or important date that related to my husband and I had someone say, "Go there and just get a glass of wine, sit there." I said, I would. I'm just afraid I will break down and I'll be there alone, crying at a table in this restaurant. And while, again, the owners are family to me, I couldn't imagine how everyone else would see me. So, problem there. I'm concerned about other people. I'm getting better. I also did not want, and this is just why I get concerned about other people, I didn't want people to be concerned about me if they were there for a special occasion, if they were there for an anniversary, or maybe even a wedding proposal. I don't want to mar that with, we were at that restaurant, and did you see that lady in the corner? She was just drinking, it looked like water and lemon, and crying into the bread. And I just did not want to be that person. I seriously was just, I can't. So to have this life group say, "We're going," and I would have a group of ladies, I joyfully said, "Yes, I will do it." And we sat outside, we enjoyed laughing, we talked about just what it means to be in different sectors of the city or going out places and enjoying life and not being uptight as Christians, because that's also the persona, is that if you're a Christian, you must stay inside and be reading your Bible and There's nothing else going on but Christian music playing in the background. We can enjoy things that are secular. It's not necessarily has to be, all holy and thou every day, all day. So going out and enjoying yourself is one. And we laughed and we had a great time. And I told the ladies at the end, you don't know what this means to me because this is the restaurant my husband and I enjoyed and had many of anniversaries here. It was a special place to us. And I said, even a year ago, and I believe it was a year ago to the day, it was also when he had his service here. And they were like shocked because they were like, oh my gosh, I was expecting you to be more emotional. You never that. And I was grateful that I was able to get through that moment because I realized I was getting through my grief. That finally, it wasn't showing up on me and the mask that I wore to cover my grief. And that's the theoretical mask of giving people the thought that I was okay. I had made a conscious decision to face a place where I knew I would be my most emotional in order to be able to finally stop physically feeling the pain of his death and feeling it heavy. I was finally saying, I'm tired of grieving. What I didn't realize is that grieving doesn't end. It doesn't stop. It continues. I know grief is ever changing. Grief also is a part of your life that waxes and wanes. It'll be intense and then it'll be very subtle to the point where you'll feel like, wait a minute, what is this feeling? Is that absolute joy and happiness I'm feeling right now? It's been a long time. Well, welcome. Grief has been so integrated in my life. It is what I know now as a constant. So to feel happiness, to feel as if you're back in the life of where everyone else is living, you're no longer on pause, was a stepping stone. Grief can wear you out. It was wearing me real thin. I wasn't sleeping. I was going all the time. I felt a little bit discombobulated a lot. I couldn't find things. So to start to get some normalcy, getting a routine back, and I'm still working on it today, I'm making a conscious effort to get back into a routine so I can fully enjoy what God has for me in these next chapters. As life has changed and I have progressed to not only enjoying being outside, like my life group friends, I learned to open my heart and let someone from the outside in. And that has been the biggest joy. The joy of the Lord is first, but the joy of having someone love you and you love them means so much. So when I think about my boyfriend that I have now and how much he's had to deal with so much of my growth and my healing, I appreciate him even the more. It started with just stepping outside of my comfort zone in the midst of the morning so that I can begin to heal. And I encourage people to do that and not allow for certain phrases, sayings, or even those who see you and say nothing, or not acknowledge you're probably still grieving. You don't have to internalize it so much that you become bitter. And that was my prayer. God, do not let me become bitter. I've had people tell me, why would you want to go through any type of counseling? It'll only bring up bad memories. It'll only have you face your pain again. And the advice that I received from the person who gave it had lost their husband, never remarried, but I found them very bitter. I was like, God, If that is what being a widow looks like, I don't want that. Please don't let me be bitter. And he literally took that from me. I had reasons to be angry. I had reasons to want to turn on people. But I said, God, bitterness harbors so much that you could actually hurt someone else. And that's never my intent. So bitterness, as you're grieving, as you're moving forward, is a part of the process, but resist it as much as you can. God is amazing. And I thank him for those who stepped up and those who wanted to step up in their own way and gave me a perspective of life or perspective in life that allowed for me to see I can move forward. I hope you will too. Find a little bit of that courage to get out of the confines of your mourning, whether it's your home or whether it's a state of mind, to get back out there. It's not over. Your life still has so much meaning. Even if your title changed, you still have so much to give. And I look forward to seeing how you progress. Thanks for joining me again for another episode of Dearly Departed Experiences of a Young Widow. I'll be praying for you. Take care until next time.